Let me ask you something. Are you just tired of setting the same goals year after year only to watch them completely fizzle out? You know the drill. You decide you're going to get in shape, you're going to learn a language, or finally start that business. But then, a few weeks later, boom, you're right back where you started. It is so frustrating. But what if I told you the problem isn't you? It's not your motivation, and it's not your goals. The problem is your system. And in the next few minutes, we are going to completely flip the script on how you think about building habits that actually finally stick.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You get that massive surge of motivation on January 1st, you've got the best intentions, but it just never seems to last. And then we beat ourselves up, thinking we don't have enough willpower. But the book Atomic Habits argues we are looking at this problem completely backward.
And this is the quote from author James Clear that changes everything. See, goals are great for setting a direction, but it's your systems, the little things you do every single day that actually get you there. Just think about it. Any two sports teams can have the exact same goal, to win the championship, but it's their system of daily practice that makes all the difference. The winner and the loser wanted the same outcome. The difference was never the goal, it was the system.
Okay, so let's dig into the fundamental mistake most of us make. We're all focusing on the wrong thing. We try to change from the outside in, when real, lasting change, the kind that sticks, it always happens from the inside out.
So look at these 3 layers of change. Most of us start at the very top, the outer layer, outcomes. We say, I want to lose 20 pounds. Then maybe we think about the middle layer, process. Okay, I'll start running every day. But we completely ignore the most critical layer, the one at the very core, our identity. This is all about who you fundamentally believe you are.
And this, right here, is the perfect example of that identity shift in action. The person on the left, they still see themselves as a smoker who is trying to quit. Their own identity is literally fighting their goal every step of the way. But the person on the right, they've fundamentally changed their self-image. Their actions and their identity are totally aligned. It's not a struggle anymore. It's just who they are.
This is the key, right here. The goal isn't just to run a marathon. It's to become a runner. The goal isn't just to learn an instrument. It's to become a musician. See, when your habits become a part of your identity, you're not fighting for change anymore. You are simply acting like the person you already believe yourself to be.
So, okay, this is a huge deal. We've got to shift our focus from outcomes to identity. But the big question is, how do you actually do that? You can't just snap your fingers and become a different person. Well, the book lays out this surprisingly simple, 2-step process to build that new identity from the ground up.
It really breaks down into these 2 simple parts. First, you just decide. Who do you want to be? A healthy person, a productive person, a kind person? Then comes the crucial part. You start proving it to yourself by casting votes for that new identity with tiny, consistent actions. Every small win reinforces your belief that, yeah, this is who I really am.
All right, so we know we need to cast these small votes for our new identity. But how do we build the habits that are those votes? Well, it turns out every single habit you have, good or bad, is driven by the exact same 4-step neurological loop that's running on autopilot in your brain 24/7.
This right here is the engine working behind the scenes. And once you understand how this loop works, you get the power to actually take control of your habits instead of letting them control you. It's a continuous cycle, so let's break it down piece by piece. Okay, so first, there's a cue. Let's say your phone buzzes. That trigger creates a craving. You really want to know who messaged you. That leads to a response. You pick up the phone. And finally, you get the reward. You satisfy that curiosity. This loop, cue, craving, response, reward, it gets stronger and more automatic every single time you go through it. Now, to engineer this loop to work for you, the book gives us 4 laws of behavior change. They are: make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. Each law targets a different stage of that loop we just talked about. For now, we're going to focus on the first and most fundamental one, make it obvious. This one is all about redesigning the cue stage. This is your first tool, and honestly, it is so simple but so powerful. Vague goals like, oh, I want to meditate more, are basically useless. An implementation intention gives your brain a crystal clear plan. I will meditate for 1 minute at 7 a.m. in my kitchen. You know, studies have shown you are 2 to 3 times more likely to follow through just by using this simple formula. It's wild. And building right on top of that is another game-changing technique, habit stacking. You don't need to find more time in your day, you just piggyback your new habit onto something you already do automatically. For example, after I make my morning coffee, I will do 10 push-ups. You're basically using the momentum of a habit you already have to launch a new one. It's brilliant.
Okay, so let's bring this all home. We've talked about identity, we've talked about the habit loop, and we've talked about making our habits obvious. But the real magic, the absolute core of this entire philosophy, happens when you stop trying to make these massive, earth-shattering changes, and instead you just aim for tiny daily improvements.
This is the atomic in Atomic Habits. 1%. It feels like absolutely nothing in the moment, but the math behind it is staggering. A tiny 1% improvement every single day means you will be 37 times better by the end of the year. Small, easy habits don't require a ton of willpower, so you actually stick with them. And over time, they deliver these incredible compounding results.
And here it is. This is where it all comes full circle. This single sentence connects that tiny 1% daily action directly back to that powerful idea of building your identity. Doing just one push-up, that's a vote for being a healthy person. Reading just one page, that's a vote for being a reader. These small votes add up and they build the evidence for your new identity. So, at the end of the day, the ultimate question isn't about finding some perfect life hack or summoning superhuman motivation. It's about deciding who you want to be and then taking one tiny step to prove it to yourself. So, what will your 1% improvement be today? And hey, for a great checklist of all these techniques, you can find a deep dive summary over at Ebooks.net.